Hello and welcome back to another video for Final Fantasy XIV with me, Meoni. This is the long-awaited patch 5.57 that we knew was going to go live today, the 22nd of June 2021. These are the actual official notes for that then, and what can I say other than I'm pretty hyped about this. First of all then, the things that you want to know, what's exactly been added to this patch? Well, in the battle system changes, you'll notice that they have essentially unlocked the weekly restriction on all areas of Eden's Promise. You've also got the ability to travel directly to any area of Eden's Promise on Savage, and 2 treasure coffers will now always appear. You also get a 10% echo to your maximum health, damage dealt, and healing potency. This is that patch that we've all been looking forward to, and this will trivialize or go further towards helping trivialize this particular content if people are still working their way through it, and also allows you to get more gear. So basically this is a huge, predicted nerf that always happens with the content at this sort of time period. Only this one, we've got another 5 months before the expansion, so they obviously did this in advance for you to be able to clear this content if you haven't already. Next of all, they add the Tower at Paradigm's Breach to the Duty Roulette Alliance raid. So in amongst everything else, you will now find the Tower at Paradigm's Breach, which is the 3rd instance, the Alliance instance of the Nier series, added to your Duty Roulette Alliance raids when you queue for those. These are the most exciting ones though. The following adjustments have been made to the Bosjan Southern Front. Field notes on Dianubu have been added to the possible rewards for completion of the skirmishes brought to heel and no camping allowed. These are ones that you would have to farm anyway. I know I was going for Sarturvadur, that particular field note, and that was from it's from multiple locations, but specifically from one of the fights that you had to do this, and another couple of fates to actually spawn that, from Steel Rain, if I remember correctly. It's been a while. Any change to field notes and the inclusion of more field notes from new areas or better areas is actually a plus in my book. I would like to see some changes in the future to Leon and the other notes, but as from what we see, the only change to field notes is this one. So that might be a sour point for you, but at the same time, if you're after Dianubu, then this will give you a better way of getting that. Those are fairly common skirmishes. Treasure chests that appear after freeing hostages during a critical engagement, the Battle of Castrum Lacus Latore, will now yield more forgotten fragments. So if you free all of them, all of those 6 prisoners, then you're going to get a lot of fragments, if that's what you're after. Fragments probably still sell quite well on the market board, even after this edition, so, that could be a way of making some gil whilst you're doing your bajillion runs of Castrum for those field notes. And the amount of metal earned for completion of Castrum Lacus Latore has also been increased, so even more reason to go and give it a go, whilst it's still relevant in my opinion. The number of Bosjan clusters required in exchange for the following items at the Resistance Quartermaster has been reduced from 3 to 1, so now you can get Fragments of Clarity, Contention, Finesse, Fortitude, and Divinity by your clusters. So when you're farming all of those skirmishes, you get these clusters from pretty much everything, from monsters and skirmishes and etc. Now you've got more ways of spending them on fragments, so I would imagine, considering we're getting more fragments here and here, that those will dip in price on the market board and will affect the market accordingly, making this more affordable to get all of the lost actions probably. The number of Timeworn artifacts received upon completing Delabrum Reginae has been increased from 1 to 3. Oh my goodness, alleluia. That's all I can think to say. So if you didn't know, Timeworn artifacts can only be received whilst undertaking the quest A Path of New Resistance. This is part of the Resistance weapon series, the Law's Order Augmentation stage in particular, where you have to ordinarily run Delabrum Reginae 15 times to actually get enough to complete 1 weapon. I've been doing all 17 weapons. I'm quite deep into that. 9 weapons deep so far. Now I only have to do 5. Yeah, so instead of doing 15 Delabrums for a weapon now, I only have to do 5. Yeah, that's how maths works, Meoni. Wow. 5 runs of DR and I've got myself a Law's Order Augmented, and then another 5 runs of Dalriada, right? And then I've completed the weapon completely. So technically, it's just 10 runs, or, well, 8 runs of DR for the last stage. Yeah, that's pretty good. That is an incredibly good change. A lot of people have been asking for a nerf to the Timeworn artifacts, myself included. 5 runs of DR is 10 times better than 15 runs, I can assure you, especially since they're like an hour a pop. This is going to make my journey a lot easier, thankfully. So thank you, Square Enix, for that change. A lot of people will be cheering that one on, I think. The field record entry for Fran Eriot has been adjusted. I'm not really sure what that means. I mean, I've read through the field notes. I will have to look at what that means in the game. It says the weekly limitation on Allegan Tombstones of Revelation has been increased from 450 to 900. The maximum store of 2,000 tombstones has not been changed. So this is the cap, cap removal that people have also been wanting. So that's pretty awesome. Now you can go and cap on all your tombstones. You're not stuck to 450 per week. You can go and gear up all of your other jobs if you haven't already. So this is awesome. So this is the patch that a lot of people have been looking forward to. Now there's a really cool feature here. So say for instance you were transferred in the game, you go to an aetheryte in a major starting city and you can visit another world server on your data center, right? So if I'm on Chaos, I can go from Ragnarok and I can go and visit Cerberus server, right? But let's, for example, imagine I logged out on Cerberus and I didn't log back on. I didn't travel back to Ragnarok before I logged off. I would normally have to log in on Cerberus, deal with whatever queues that server would have, and then the queues to actually visit my character back to its home world. Well, that's not no longer a problem. They've got visit another world server option added to the sub-command menu on the character select screen. So this is if you press square on your character, or if you right-click on your character on the character select screen, you will be able to actually visit another world server, which is awesome, isn't it? And then you can log in to the actual desired world that you want to, rather than having to do multiple loading screens and lots of waiting, which is really awesome. It says, please consider this option when having difficulty logging into your home world, like I've said, or when it's overly congested. The following restrictions apply when using this option. A destination world cannot be selected when using this option. A world with available space will be chosen automatically. Players will log in near the aetheryte of their starting city, and this feature is not available under certain conditions, such as after logging out whilst undertaking certain duties. So they've covered their backs there. They've tried to, prevent any bugs that could break things, which is nice to see. But yeah, so you don't get to choose a server, it just puts you on. This is really interesting though, especially for future-proofing towards Endwalker, when the servers are going to get absolutely hammered by everybody playing the game at the same time. If my server Ragnarok is absolutely chocker, I will probably press this button and just play through the expansion on a different server. I am not afraid of doing that, and that's a really good option. Really, really cool. It's going to save a lot of time. Next up, it says quest completion can now be confirmed via the character profile page of the Lodestone. The character profile page will now list completed quests, including their date of completion. Quest history for all characters, including date of completion, will be saved to the Lodestone, beginning with a release of 5.5. Information under My Quests cannot be seen by other users. Very interesting. So you have basically a nice list on your character's Lodestone that you can see, oh, when did I do that quest? Oh, right, I did that in June, for example. That's really, really useful. Really useful indeed. So, yeah, that's awesome. Then we've got some resolved issues. We might as well just blast through these. An issue in the Bosnian Southern Front wherein an NPC that appeared during the duel Beast of Man did not display correctly. Interesting. An issue in Zadnor wherein the NPC Yamatsumi, the Harbinger, did not display correctly during certain skirmishes. Taking a lion's share did not display correctly. So these are graphical issues. Weapons Refrain Ultimate, where players were not incapacitated when touching the edge of the battlefield. That sounds like a big one. An issue where, when using the Flower Shower emote, wherein the effects did not display when used by a female Elezen, female Rogadin, and Hrothgar under certain conditions. That's interesting. An issue when riding the Deinonychus mount, the new dinosaur from Zadnor, wherein emotes did not function properly when used. I remember this one. So male Makote, for some reason, when they did the read emote, would flip inside their own body upside down. So it's nice to see they fixed that. An issue wherein music and sound effects did not play when entering or undertaking certain duties on the PS5, and minor text issues have also been addressed, and lots of other stuff that they don't talk about, but other various, they say. There is currently 2 known issues right now. Apparently the text in the field entry for Fran has not been adjusted properly. An issue wherein changing the display language of the game's launcher causes the client to freeze on a loading screen. Well, there we go. Big highlights to take from this: the world server visit option in the character select screen is kind of amazing. I love that. That's awesome. Just unexpected. Just here you go. Here's a new feature. Love that. The lodestone with quest lists with timestamps. Really nice, actually, for future-proofing if you want to prove something to somebody. Unlocking of the tombstones and the rest of it in the raid doesn't affect me directly. I'm not interested in this particular tier, but yeah, that's awesome for people still working through that. And the Delibram Reginae changes to Timeworn artifacts up to 3 instead of 1 means I only have to do 5 runs of the thing instead of 15. I'm a very happy camper right now. I would like to see in the future more field note changes, maybe to some of the drop rates. As you all probably are aware, they are pretty abysmal. But apart from that, very solid patch, very excited. No major content, but it doesn't need to be when changes like that happen. Much love. Patch notes will be in the description of this video if you want to go read through them yourself. I try to make these the notes actually much bigger on the screen. I had a few complaints that being in a 4K resolution monitor, everything was so small on a mobile phone, so hopefully this fixed it. If not, I will do it even further in the future with a stretch tool and try and resize it. But much love, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the game and next time. Bye bye.